Starting with the lineup of Kenny Hyde Jr. and Jeremy Edwards on the front row, Patrick Gitter and Chris Lockwood on the second row, Otto Cruz and Pudge himself on the third row, Dean Webb and Jeremy Gardner on the fourth row, Blake Viken and Bryant DeYoung rounding out the top 10. Jason Miz, Charles Joplin 11th and 12th. 13th is Eric Steele, Justin Swafford is 14th, Brandon Newby 15th, Jeffrey Sheldon 16th, Anthony Karen 17th, 18th is Blair Patterson, 19th is Ryan McDaniel, 20th is Bradley Hunt. Then Nate Johnson and Patrick Piper 21st and 22nd, Colby Whipple and Jarrett Woodard 23rd and 24th. 25th is Kevin Bernheimer, Russell Worth is 26th, 27th is James Smith, PJ Cox back in 28th, Bradley Wright and Joe Ogle 29th and 30th, then Brian O'Shell, Ray Rogers, Lonnie Roberts, Nicholas Burke, and Chris McCoy rounding out the 35 car field. Now, I think the most number of trucks I've ever been on track with here is 20, and that's a lot on this 1 mile track. So things might get a little sketchy out there. Let's take a quick look at it. Track temperature, thankfully a cool 73 degrees out there. Air temperature 68. That 73 degrees will help these guys' tires last just a little bit longer, but expect that track temperature to go up anywhere from 5 to 10 degrees and things to get really slick out there. There is a little bit of cloud cover to start the race. Greg Gates is cheering for the tow truck. BJ Johnson cheering on Bryant DeYoung, and as is Shannon Edwards. And Chelsea Roberts cheering on Lonnie Roberts. So good luck to everybody in this field, and obviously a lot of people in the stands here tonight. All right, the pace car will take him around. He'll drop off out of turn number 4. And then they are going to send it. Expect it to be too wide, and the problem spots on this track really are coming off of turn 2, especially once those tires start to go away. You'll really see guys struggling off of turn 2 and into that outside wall or spinning down to the inside. Pit road entry, really easy. Pit road exit will be problematic under green flag. Pace car is in. Green flag is in the air. They are down and away. Race number 2 of the Nowski Retro Truck Series is underway. Off into turn 1. Everybody trying to sort out. A lot of guys will push to get as much as they can early because this track is so tricky. And you gotta love these retro paint schemes as they come around the field. Completing lap number 1, old school Mopar paint scheme there. You gotta love seeing Dodge back in the field. And the 69 of Bradley Hunt has a little problem off of turn 2 already. And the 2 car almost gets his back bumper. That was Kevin Bernheimer having to back out just a little bit. Allows Jarrett Woodard to pull ahead. Back up front, Patrick Gitter is battling Kenny Hyde for the lead. Otto Cruz managing to slip by with Gitter to second. Kenny Hyde stuck up on the high side. You want to be on the bottom in 1 and 2 here. 3 and 4 up top is the faster line around the track, and as that showed, Kenny Hyde up high in 1 and 2 lost a little ground, but once he got into 3 and 4, he had the momentum advantage, pulled away from Jeremy Edwards. Chris Lockwood back in 5th, Pudge running in 6th. Jeremy Gardner now in 7th. Look at the power move. Pudge goes to the high side. He dove it into turn 3. Now he's got to try and clear before he gets into turn 1, or he might lose everything he just gained. He's way up high. Manages to clear. He's really sending it. And Patrick Gitter just ran the fastest lap of the race. As the tires start to come in, 24.1 so far. And actually starting to pull away from Otto just a little bit. Kenny Hyde in third. Justin Swafford is one of the drivers on the move in the 92 car, and it looks like Joe Ogle and Lonnie Roberts have crashed. No caution yet. Let's see if we can see what happened to these two drivers. Down the back straightaway, into turn. Oh, that was just a blink, and a bunch of cars checking up. Looks like that might have been Lonnie, and the caution is now out. Let's see if we can figure out where this all started at. Looks like it might have started with the 77s. Let's back it up just a little bit. It looks like it may have happened just in front of him. A couple of cars the 54 got loose. The 51 gets collected. The 77 trying to avoid it and goes up the track, collects the 210. Bunch of cars collected in that incident. The 77 coming around. He is going to get back on the lead lap. Ray Rogers on pit road. Joe Ogle went to pit road for repairs, as did Bradley Wright, Lonnie Roberts. Multiple cars hitting pit road. Jeffrey Sheldon on pit road at the moment. Meanwhile, Patrick Gitter and Kenny Hyde Jr. up front. Otto Cruz, Jeremy Edwards in the second row. Chris Lockwood and Nowski on the third row. Jeremy Garner, Dean Webb, Bryant DeYoung, and Justin Swafford rounding out the top 10. Looking through the field to see who the biggest mover is. I think it's Swafford at this point, up 4 spots already. It does look like Swafford is the man on the move. Started in 14th. He is up to 10th in that 92 car. And you gotta love the old Terry Labonte Kellogg scheme. Just awesome. Loving all the retro paint schemes out here tonight. But it's kind of hard to beat Kenny Hyde Jr.'s Days of Thunder Mellow Yellow truck. Now we're starting to see a few more trucks hit pit road again, getting some manual repairs. Now, they do have a fast repair available. However, they're going to use that as late as possible. And while this track is only a mile, it races like a short track, but it has speedway kind of speeds. Brandon Mitchell, are you cheering on yourself? Just kidding, I get the joke, but... Jeremy Edwards being cheered on by Kristen Edwards. Lights are still on the pace car as everybody getting sorted out towards the back. And I forgot to mention to PJ Cox to get rid of the camel truck. I meant to mention it to him last week, too. PJ, you make me want one. All right, lights are out on the pace car. It is worth noting real quick while we have a moment. That red line there is the start-finish line on the track map, and it is not dead center on the front straightaway. I have called more than one race here at Rockingham that has been decided by the position of that start-finish line. The same thing happens at Talladega and several other tracks that the start-finish line is not exactly where you would expect it to be. All right, everybody stacked back up side by side. Still have 29 cars on the lead lap. Several cars currently, or trucks currently in pit road. Jarrett Woodard just went to pit road. Not sure what happened there. We'll try and take a look here in just a few moments. Pace car is in. Green flag is back in the air. And off they go into turn number 1. Looking through the field as they get into one. A lot of times on this restart, you've got guys diving into one, trying to get everything they can, taking any hole they can find, and that is where a lot of chaos comes from. We've got a car in the wall on the back straightaway. He manages to pull down but loses several positions. I believe that was the 88. That was Nate Johnson, last week's winner. He lost a couple of spots on that restart, but he is already up 3 spots from where he started. So he, no big loss. Swafford, however, he is on the move. He is now up to 7th. Kenny Hyde Jr. has reclaimed the lead over Patrick Gitter. Otto Cruz right there with him. Jeremy Edwards right there with him. And Pudge now up into 5th. Dean Webb in 6th. Swafford in 7th. Lockwood is in 8th. Jeremy Gardner in 9th. Charles Joplin is 10th. And there's a battle going for 11th as Eric Steele starts to make his way forward. Bryant DeYoung 12th. Jason Miz is 13th. Blake Picken is 14th. And Brandon Newby in 15th. And a couple of trucks starting to make their way forward. Patrick Piper in the 38 truck. He is up 4 spots to 18th. Colby Whipple in the 12 up 4 spots into 19th, and Kevin Bernheimer starting to make his way forward. He is in 21st. Brian O'Shell also has made his way up despite the heavy damage to the back of that truck. He is up 7 spots after starting in 31st. Sun starting to come out of the clouds just a little bit. We'll see the track temperature start to rise here in just a moment. Robbie telling Brian DeYoung to do it for Dale, and he is currently running in 12th, trying to make his way forward. Kenny Hyde Jr. holding the front. The front 4 or 5 are staying pretty well single file. But Rockingham is one of those tracks that it is not how fast you are early in the run, it's how much you save for late in the run. The guys that save the most tires and can make it the furthest on their tires, those are the guys that we will see coming forward. Justin Swafford is suddenly starting to lose some ground. It looks like he might have some damage on the right side. He might have gotten the wall. He was pushing awfully hard, trying to come to the front. They're trying to make it 3 wide on the front stretch. Not there yet. Oh, Swafford up high. The 89. They're door banging out of turn 2. A drag race down into. They're still leaning on each other into turn 3. And Swafford and Joplin are definitely having a bit of fun here. 20 laps in, and these guys are racing side by side. You know the 32 of Eric Steele is just lurking there thinking, if one of these guys makes a mistake, I can get through here. And the 92 now, the 89 pulls ahead. The 92 now dropping into 10th place. Eric Steele looking for the pass down to the inside. And they're leaning on each other again. I have not seen this much leaning on each other in a truck race in a while. Now you have to wonder, Kenny Hyde Jr. out front. They have already lost a half a second a lap on their top speed since the start of the race. That's how quickly these tires go away. Wait another 5 laps, we'll check again, and I guarantee you they will lose a lot more. but they're going to have to stretch those tires till the end of the fuel run. Rockingham has a tendency to have a couple of early cautions, maybe a couple of late cautions, but one really long run in the middle, which will require some green flag pit stops. And coming off pit road here onto the back straightaway, things get very, very sketchy very quickly, as you see the 58 passing a car coming off pit road down on the bottom. All right, Pudge is up in 5th. Dean Webb, who made sure he had extra motors in the garage this week, now up to 6th. Hopefully he won't need them. And it looks like Justin Swafford, who charged forward a lot, might have used his tires up a little bit too early. He does have light damage to that truck, but not enough to really be affecting the speed. Look at the right side as he goes by. He has scraped the wall a little bit. That right rear spoiler up in the air a little bit higher might actually be benefiting him, but it looks like he has used his tires up a little too soon. He has drifted back to 12th. Meanwhile, Brian O'Shell, who started in 21st, started in 31st, has made his way to 21st. And PJ Cox, the race sponsor, there he is in the camel car, currently running in 28th. He said he would be playing the long game here tonight. Back up front for the first time, Kenny Hyde Jr. is starting to put a gap on second place Jeremy Edwards. Just over 0.6 of a second. Patrick Gitter currently running in 3rd, Otto Cruz in 4th. And Kenny Hyde Jr. really having a great run here so far. Qualified on the pole, dropped back to 2nd early, but gets back around, reclaims the lead, starting to pull away just a little bit, but Jeremy Edwards apparently cranked it up just a little bit. One strategy often used here, I've used it myself, works really well, is pushing hard for one lap, laying out for a lap just a little bit, just 10% less, and you can run with the leaders and save tires doing that. So different strategies will be at play. A lot of drivers trying different stuff to make their tires last here at Rockingham. This track is so abrasive, it just eats up tires. Eric Steele has made his way up into 10th now. Charles Joplin, we saw him battling earlier with Swafford. He is now up to 9th. With a couple of cars right within striking distance, let's hop in the truck with him as he comes down the back stretch into turn number 3. And yeah, there's a lot of cars right there within striking distance, and he is coming forward. Off of turn 4, holds it down to the bottom as he's got to run down to the inside. Back down into turn 1, has the advantage of the bottom line, drifted up to the middle just a little bit, pulls it back down, and full speed off the turns. And this track, you definitely have to be gentle on the gas as you come out of the turns, or you can spin the tires and spin the truck. Clipping the apron just a little bit in the middle of the turn to get a little extra rotation. And the leaders are in lap traffic already, a little bit sooner than what we would have expected with the early caution, but they just caught past Jeffrey Sheldon. He is the first car to go a lap down here. So Kenny Hyde Jr. now has Jeremy Edwards and Patrick Gitter right back on the back bumper. And Nick cheering on Bryant DeYoung. Bryant DeYoung has quite the following here tonight. Bryant currently in 16th place, trying to make his way forward in the 28 Haviland truck. It's a Ford. Top 3 have started to open up a gap. Pudge's caution is out. Jeffrey Sheldon and Dean Webb involved. Oh, looks like they were just met in the middle. Holy cow. The 09 goes for a big, big tumble there. As the 09 of Dean Webb, you see the truck bounce off the high side down into the, and Dean gets there and goes for a hard, hard ride down the backstretch wall. Wow. Dean was another one that made sure to bring some extra motors tonight in case he needed them. He looked like he was going to need one here tonight. Everybody hitting pit road. Kenny Hyde Jr. comes in. He will have the best spot on pit road right there at the line. As he pulls up, do not expect to see anybody try any weird tire strategy here. Russell Worth staying out, at least for the moment, to lead and get a few bonus points here. Kenny Hyde Jr. is the first one off pit road. 4 tires and fuel. Jeremy Edwards in second. Pudge manages to come off third. Patrick Gitter fourth and Jeremy Gardner fifth. Now Russell Worth did stay out. Expect to see him hit pit road here in just a moment. Do not expect him to stay out. The 09 of Dean Webb has repaired and he is at the tail end of the lead lap right now. He should be waved around the pace car, so he will maintain the lead lap. Russell Worth has still not been to pit road, and that's a little curious. We'll have to wait and see if he dives in at the last possible minute. Could be a little bit of tire strategy there. That 2 extra laps could definitely come in handy later in the run. Welcome back, Bryce. Yes, big bonk indeed. Dean Webb had a really big bonk down the back straightaway. All right, Russell Worth and obviously Dean Webb out there in front of the leaders. Russell, being the leader, he stayed out to get the points. The 2 cars in front of him should be waved around, and they have both been to pit road. But if Russell does not come to pit road this time, that could be problematic on the restart. This track notorious for if you stay out, your tires are burnt up. You're on very old tires. It's very easy to spin the tires as Russell Worth is staying out. So everybody else comes in on lap 35. Russell has stayed out there to assume the lead. He's going to restart on the top. Watch for there to be a problem on his restart. If he spins those tires, it could stack the entire outside line. Plus, just based on the 35 laps they had done on that first set of tires, they had dropped over a second in lap time. This is very, very curious. I've never seen somebody attempt this here at Rockingham. I've seen some crazy different strategies here, but never just staying out at an opportunity like this. He might be expecting another caution pretty quickly, hopefully not involving him. Pace car is in. Green flag is back in the air. Russell Worth is down and away. Kenny Hyde clears him on the high side. Pudjanowski's going to clear him. They're going to stack up on the inside into turn 1. Pudge up high. Russell Worth having some problems. He's a little sideways. We're going to have a caution here. He did not want to be the caution, but now here we are. Several cars caught. And oh, he gets another bonk. Holy cow, we've got 3 trucks stopped on the back straightaway. Looks like Brian O'Shell, Auto Cruz might have been caught in that. All right, let's take a quick look and see who all is involved. The 17 of Jeremy Edwards right behind him. He drifts up and then just lost control of the truck, comes down into Jeremy. And then the chaos continued from there as drivers trying to avoid the incident in front of them. And the 38, they almost made it through the gap. And the 38 catches the 77 and the 03 down on the bottom. There's Auto Cruz. Watch him try and navigate through this as he backs out of the throttle as Nate Johnson checked up in front of him. He checked up, did not bonk Nate, but there you have it. And then the 54 gets caught up in this as well. That back straightaway, once an incident happens, there's not a lot of places, and he just barely taps, but enough that he might have to go in and have that truck checked out. Wow. Interesting strategy. I mean, Russellworth did get to lead a couple of laps under caution and control the restart, but no major benefit for him long run. We'll have to wait and see if he can make his way back forward now. Chain reaction bonk. Good one. I like that. Looks like Patrick Piper might have had another incident. Let's see. Or maybe he just had to stop on the back straightaway. Oh, he was just stopping to let everybody get sorted out. All right. So Kenny Hyde Jr. is in the lead. Pudge is now up to second after that. And a great save by Pudge up on the high side as the chaos ensued behind him. Jeremy Gardner slips through the mess. Patrick Gitter manages to keep her clean. Eric Steele now up to fifth. Charles Joplin sixth. Blake Vicken in 7th, Chris Lockwood 8th, Brandon Newby 9th, and Jason Miz in 10th. Anthony Caron has started making his way up. He is now in 11th. Blair Patterson now up to 12th. Nate Johnson, barely any contact in the middle of that incident. We saw him just barely be able to get that truck stopped. He is now up to 13th, up 8 spots from where he started. Eric Steele, the other driver, up 8 spots. And James Smith in the 22 started in 27th, and he is up to 16th. Lonnie Roberts, another big mover, despite being caught in just about everything that's happened on this track tonight. He's up 10 spots already to 23rd. Looks like the lights are out on the pace car. We'll go green next time by. All the cars out front on the same tire strategy. This time should make for a cleaner restart. Kenny Hyde Jr., obviously his crew chief told him to hit the pace car, so that's what he's doing. I don't know how many times we have to tell the crew chiefs, stop telling your drivers to hit the pace car. And Bryant DeYoung probably is wearing the brown pants today after that one. You are definitely correct. All right, everybody stacks up in 3 and 4. Pace car is in. Green flag is in the air. They're down and away. Now we'll watch everybody go off into turn number 1. Pudge up on the high side. Garner down on the bottom. Can't get enough. Oh, we've got a car in the wall on the back straightaway. He clears the track, and now he's in the middle. Caution's back out. Looks like that was Charles Joplin in the 89 Kellogg Chevrolet. And, oh, he got a little bit of a bonk from the 18 to the inside. Then he comes down and bonks on a collected. I believe Nate Johnson got clipped. Charles Joplin did have to tow to pit road. Let's see what happened. Yep, when he bounced off the inside, he collected the 88 of Nate Johnson. Nate had pretty minor damage earlier, but now he is going to have some pretty significant damage to that truck. And what a turn of events. Just about the time we were talking about long green flag runs here, a bunch of different situations have brought about a couple of back-to-back cautions. A couple of guys have managed to make it work, though. James Smith has really continued his march forward. He started in 27th. He is up to 13th now. He is the biggest mover so far in the race, followed by Lonnie Roberts, who started in 33rd and is up to 21st. And Lonnie, you know what? He's been caught and at least been clipped in every incident. I think he probably caught a small piece of that one, to be perfectly honest. He was right behind it, so you can see a little bit of damage on the right rear of the truck, but Kenny Hyde Jr. definitely taking advantage of being in control of the race, as he's been able to hold everybody behind him. And in an odd turn of events, it looks like I cannot actually pull anybody up to interview during the race because they are in a different channel than they were last week, and I don't have the right. So we'll figure this out and limp by for tonight. But Rockingham's definitely going to put on a show for us tonight. Dean Webb, Otto Cruz, both of those guys had really hard bonks last week. Both of them got taken out. Both of them have already been caught in incidents here tonight as well. Looking to see, Dean is currently running in 16th. Looking to see where Otto is currently running. Otto's back in 24th. And they were putting down some extremely fast lap times in qualifying too. So, you know, it's a rough start to the race for a couple of the top drivers in the Nowski Nation. A couple of guys we see in the TDR versus Nowski Nation races that are always up front. Fortunately, both of them brought backup engines tonight. Oh, cool. Thanks for the update, Kenny. See, this is so handy having these guys listening. Plus, I can say whatever I want and... Just kidding. All right, so Kenny Hyde has the lead, and let's just take a quick look here. Most of the drivers... Okay, the top 17 pitted on that lap 34 caution. You've got Bradley Hunt and Jeremy Edwards that pitted on lap 40. So 7 laps ago. Then you've got Bernheimer, Ray Rogers, Ray Rogers, and Brian O'Shell who pitted just now. And those are the lead lap cars, different pit strategies as they go green from single file. And that is going to play out. The tire strategy we were just talking about will play out here shortly. Even that 5-lap difference, in some cases 10-lap difference. Eric Steele up high trying to make a move past the 81 of Blake Vicken. And you got to love the old Bobby Labonte Interstate Batteries paint scheme. And here comes the 23 of Anthony Caron. He is making his way forward. He is up 9 spots already, looking to make it 10 and put himself in 7th place. There he goes. Off into turn 3, though. Newbie is not done. The Coors Light car is charging for. Look at the power move by Lockwood. from the high side to the bottom underneath the 23, dives it into turn one. Lockwood is going to make his way forward. Lockwood started up in fourth and has drifted back, but here he comes. And this is a side-by-side battle for 8th place. It's getting a little dicey. And you know, Kenny Hyde Jr. and Pudge Nowski, they're both up there, and they are actually starting to pull away. They got 0.7 of a second on Patrick Gitter, Jeremy Gardner, and then Blake Vicken, Brandon Newby, and then Chris Lockwood. These guys, they're finally sorting out single file. Here comes Jason Miz. Blair Patterson now making his way forward. And Anthony Karen has made it into the top 10 now. And he's got Blair right in front of him. But you know what? You kind of have to cheer for the lone Dodge on the track because we need Dodge back. James Smith, we have talked about that 22 truck a couple of different times. Keep a close eye on his position on track. That man started in 27th place. He is up to 12th. That truck looks undamaged. No, I take that back. It looks like he's got a little bit of a bump on the back bumper, and that's it. That truck has made it through everything cleanly. It's still in good shape. He is still marching his way forward, now trying to run down Bryant DeYoung in 11th place. That might be the truck to watch here tonight. His best lap time on par with most of the top 5. The only 2 drivers that have had a faster lap time in the top 10 are those 2 out front, Kenny Hyde and Matt Hughes. I stand corrected. Patrick Gitter also has a faster lap time. So the top 3 are the only ones with faster lap times. Look for James Smith to continue to march his way forward. And as I mentioned earlier, it's not who has the fastest lap, especially early on tires. It's who is fastest for the longest and saves the most tires. And it looks like Pudge might have had a problem there in 1 and 2. He went way, way high. We've seen him run high up there, but he obviously lost a ton of momentum. Up high in 3 and 4 is the place to be, but 1 and 2, bottom to middle. Bottom will eat your tires up. Middle's about where you want to be to maintain speed, but that last lap, you saw him right there just jump up high. Looked like he was trying to catch the back end. And a note from Greg Gates is that Pudge would probably be winning right now, but he's probably streaming New World, so he's not concentrating on driving. As Patrick Gitter actually slips by him for 2nd place. It does not take much, and the little mistake like you saw Pudge have just a couple of laps ago, that it doesn't take much for these guys to lose a whole lot of tire, especially trying to make a really quick move that eats the tires up. Brandon Newby is another driver that continues to impress. He is up to 6th place now after starting in 15th. And it looks like he's about to get him a couple more, as Jeremy Gardner had a problem coming off turn 4, lost a ton of momentum. Blake Vicken got right to the back bumper. Colby Whipple up 7 spots after starting in 16th. After starting in 23rd, he is up to 16th. Another one of the trucks that has just quietly marched his way forward and having some very consistent lap times. And let's show you this. We'll cycle through the fastest lap times of each of the drivers for a lap or two, and then we'll show you just how much slower they are right now from those laps. As Kenny Hyde now opening up, started to build a half a second lead, but Patrick Gitter is dropping the hammer. Blair Patterson now up into 8th after starting in 18th. Jason Miz in 9th. Anthony Karen up to 10th now. And another driver we talked about earlier who has consistently moved forward. That is the 26 of Lonnie Roberts, who started in 33rd and is now up to 18th and continuing to work his way forward. Right behind him in 19th is Ray Rogers, who started in 32nd. So those two have really came through the field together. Looking for some of the trucks that have been caught up in incidents early. Nate Johnson, we saw him take a hard bonk. He is back in 25th now. Eric Steele also had a bit of a hard bonk earlier. He is back in 27th. Jeffrey Sheldon has had a couple of hard bonks. He is back in 28th. And Kenny Hyde Jr. continuing to lead. Patrick Gitter in second has obviously saved a lot of tire early in the run. Look at how much lower he is running 1 and 2. Then caution. Oh, big one right in front of the leaders. Looks like Jeffrey Sheldon and Charles Joplin both have been and I believe PJ Cox was caught in that. He manages to get away unscathed. But a hard bonk on the back straightaway. Charles Joplin ends up towing to pit road. His truck might be done. That car has taken a big hit. And a couple of big hits. Now, we are at lap 67. Most of the field, most of the lead lap cars stopped around lap 35. So we should start seeing the leaders hit pit road here in just a minute. And we do. All the lead lap drivers are now on pit road. Looking to see if anybody makes a call to stay out. Lap cars have to stay out one more lap. And Kenny Hyde Jr. heading for pit road. Hey Kenny, this is Doug in the booth. You got me?
I got you, bud. How you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing good, but not nearly as good as that mellow yellow truck.
You should see my underwear right about now after getting through that wreck.
I was about to ask you about that. That had to have been a big pucker moment as you come down the back straightaway, and then that happens. You guys just barely missed that incident.
That was one of them, find a hole and stick with it and hope for the best. Thankfully, it worked out.
Well, now you have been able to hold everybody off for the first half of the run. It looks like they slowly catch you late in the run after about 30 laps or so. Are you going to change anything up this time or just keep doing what you're doing and hope you can hold them off late in the run?
Hoping I can hold them off. It's been working thus far, so other than the 3 or 4 laps, whatever it was, early in the race when the 21 passed us, seems to be working pretty good. So like I said, I'm not going to really change anything.
All right. Well, I do have to ask the most important question. Is your pit crew eating ice cream?
I hope Harry's eating ice cream.
All right, man. Good luck, and hopefully we'll be talking to you in Victory Lane.
Thanks, man.
All right, Kenny Hyde Jr. Bryce Whipple, unfortunate bonk. It is correct. Now that Mountain Dew car truck is going to get the wave around. He should go back, trying to see how many laps down. That is Jarrett Woodard, excuse me. He is 4 laps down, but he will get waved around the field and get one of his laps back. That'll actually put him on the same, or put him, I think, ahead of Jeffrey Sheldon. It'll actually move him up a position. We'll have to wait and see, but several cars look like they're going to get waved around the pace car here as we get ready to go green. Brandon Newby, another driver that just continues to make a march forward, started in 15th, now up to 4th place. Blair Patterson up to 8th place after starting 18th, so we're starting to see some of these drivers really work through the field, like Colby Whipple, also, who started 23rd and is now up to 13th, and Ray Rogers, who started 32nd, now up to 17th. Lights out on the pace car. It does look like we're going single file on the restarts. And looking for the pace car to drop off. The field is not packed up real close, but pace car is in. Green flag is back in the air. They're down and away. Oh, caution. It looks like there was some sort of issue with the restart. I think it might have had something to do with an incident. We're going to take a quick look. I'm not sure if these drivers had to stop on the back straightaway to let other drivers by, but got an alert that a couple of trucks had a wreck. So, oh, that's what happened. And several of them wreck on the back straightaway under caution as they were trying to stack the field back up for the restart. Does happen from time to time from even the best drivers. I mean, wasn't it Juan Pablo Montoya that ran into a sweeper or jet dryer or something? Like I said, even the best. All right, now they have to check up just a little bit to let the pace car come and catch back up. So the whole field is going to have to stop and wait for the pace car. Let's see if we can find. Now this is always fun to watch, the pace truck or the pace car driving through the other cars. I have multiple times suggested that one, just for like a week 13 event, the iRacing should tell absolutely nobody and make the pace cars solid for a week, just to mess with people. I think it would be one of the funniest things that ever happened. And we've got Rouse House cheering on Patrick Gitter, saying, "Get her done." And there he is, getting her done, up to second. And he is driving the old Heartbeat Chevrolet, the Heartbeat of America Chevrolet truck. Gotta love that. Some of these old trucks is just like a trip down memory lane for me. Especially that Mountain Dew car for some reason. Anyway. Looks like we'll go around one more time before we get the one to go. And then we are going to go green flag racing just about halfway through the event. And what a wild event it has been. This has actually been an atypical race for Rockingham. As I mentioned, you usually get one or two cautions very early on, like in the first 10 to 15 laps. And then I have seen races go much further than this and stay green flag, even with a little bit of chaos on track. Just the way that this track tends to spread out. By the end of a run, you usually end up with guys, a lot of cars a lap down, coming to green flag stops, and pit strategy being something, being quite a big thing. And of course, as I mentioned last week, this being a newly formed truck league, A lot of these guys still getting to know how each other races. It takes a little bit for a league to get some cohesion, but you got to admit, the racing here tonight has been epic, and there are some drivers that are really showing that they have the strength and the speed to get up there and possibly be the champion of the season. And to be perfectly honest, any driver that is good at Rockingham is not going to struggle at a whole lot of tracks. If you're good at Rockingham, you tend to be good at Darlington and Atlanta Motor Speedway, and it just keeps building from there. And Trevor saying the 12 needs to go faster. We'll see if we can get that communicated to him. Hey, good evening, Richie. Pace car is in. Single file restart again. Did they delay it? We did not get the green there. Drivers are taking off. I think there might have been a glitch. There goes the green flag. It finally triggers. They're down and away already. I am not sure what happened there. Fortunately, everybody gets through just fine. Blair Patterson already up to 6th. Brian O'Shell continues his march toward the front. Swafford, who charged forward early in the race, looking to make a comeback here, as we are just past halfway. Meanwhile, Kenny Hyde Jr. starting to try and build up a lead. He is not going to play it safe with his tires. He said he's going to keep doing the same thing he's been doing. It's working. He gets away early in the run, and he can defend from there. Brandon Newby, though, man, that guy is marching his way forward. But here comes Blake Vicken. He drops down to the inside. He is looking for, oh! He got a little bit of a push coming off turn 4, and as he was getting on the throttle, you could see the back end just trying to step out on him. That is indicative of what we talked about earlier in the race, that once these tires get heated up, they really, if you get on the gas too soon, they start to slip around on you and try to push you up to the wall. You see Kenny Hyde Jr. Coming higher off the turns and extending how far up the track he goes to help keep some traction under him. Colby Whipple in the 12 car. He is now up to 14th, so there you have it, Trevor. He's going a little faster for you, bud. Brian O'Shell, another driver who is making his way forward. He started back in 31st up to 16th. Justin Swafford back in 17th. As I mentioned, he was charging through the field earlier. Obviously a little bit of damage to the back of that truck. Not affecting him too bad, but it does look like he has pulled it back just a little bit. Not burning his stuff up as quickly on these later runs. And lap traffic already becoming an issue for the leaders. That was the 270 of Bradley Wright, who dropped down on the back straightaway. Looked like he might have been underpowered as they came around. And look at this, the leader is already picking up all these cars that have taken significant damage, dropping down to the bottom to let the leaders by. So hopefully we do not have, Kenny Hyde does not have to sweat another wreck in front of him by a couple of lap cars. as he goes down into turn 1 and 2. One more time. Clipping the apron through the middle and then all the way out to the wall, down the back straightaway into turn 3. The higher line through 3 and 4 to maintain as much speed as possible, and running higher, you use a little bit less of the tires. You can save the tires a little bit longer. PJ Cox did come down to pit road just a moment ago. And the leaders have to be a little bit worried coming up so quickly on some of these lap cars. There's the 77 of Russell Worth. We saw him involved in a couple of incidents. He was actually having a pretty decent run earlier. It worked his way into the top 15. He is now back into 29th, and he is the next victim of Kenny Hyde. Patrick Gitter in second, Matt Pujanowski in third, Brandon Newby in fourth, and look at this. Blair Patterson has been steadily working his way forward after starting in 18th. He is now up into 5th, but it doesn't look like Jeremy Garner is going to let him stay there for very long. Garner down to the bottom for 5th place. Oh, Blair gets a little squirrely trying to push that car up off of 2. Down through 3 and 4. They're running almost we've got a lap car getting in the way. The 14 really checked up. And Brandon Newby is now within striking distance of both Patterson and Gardner. And these cars out here down on power, just trying to lip it around and get as many points as possible. Pick up as many laps as possible here in the race as other drivers are dropping out. Currently down to 25 cars on the lead lap. Kevin Bernheimer is the last car on the lead lap in the Kodiak paint scheme there, and he just lost the lead lap. Saw Bernheimer take a heavy hit earlier on. Obviously, even with repairs, still struggling. Oh, Kevin scraped the wall just a little bit there coming out of turn 2, trying to stay out of the way of the leaders. Newby is still holding on to 4th. Jeremy Gardner finally got past Blair Patterson for 5th. Blair back to 6th, and Blake Vicken has been hanging out back there this whole time. You know, we've not seen an extremely long run out of these trucks, but Blake is one that we saw later in the runs start to make his way forward. It seems like he is just sitting out and hanging out in the draft, trying to make his way forward. And without using up his stuff, just trying to take care of that truck. Chris Lockwood now in 8th. And look at this, Patrick Piper has made his way up to 9th after starting in 22nd. Dean Webb has made his way back into the top 10 after a very hard crash earlier. Obviously glad he brought extra motors this week. And looks like Dean is not done yet because he is looking for 9th place, and he's going to try and make a move to the high side, but Jeremy Edwards is right there. Kenny Hyde is really in a big mess of lap cars. And I absolutely love the old Mountain Dew paint scheme. Love seeing it back on the track. In fact, I'm going to take a sip of my Mountain Dew right now. Yep, I feel better. Kenny Hyde out front and cleared the lap traffic a little bit quicker than Patrick Gitter, giving himself a 1-second lead. Pudge having to go to the high side here. He is losing ground as well. Brandon Newby still trying to negotiate some of this traffic back here. Gardner right there behind him. And it looks like Blair Patterson is losing a little bit of ground to these guys. Part of what is going to determine the winner at this point is going to be who navigates this lap traffic the best. Oh! Look at that, PJ Cox. PJ Cox through 3 and 4 had his left sides down on the apron. He is trying to stay out of the way of the leaders, but he got down a little too low, and that caused that truck to get way sketchy. He's having some really close calls here. He is trying to do the right thing, and it looks like he might be coming to pit road. He is really struggling right now, and that is unfortunate. As he had a good run going early on, he had a good strategy early on, but getting caught up in a couple of different incidents, and he is going backwards. Kenny Hyde Jr., meanwhile, continuing to lap all these trucks in front of him. That significant damage. And let's see, who's the next car he will be within striking distance of? Lonnie Roberts. Lonnie had been charging through the field earlier in the race. He's still up 11 spots from where he started in 33rd, but he is within striking distance of the leader. In front of him, Ray Rogers in 21st, and James Smith. We talked about James earlier, and that man was charging through the field, had managed to work his way just outside of the top 10. After starting in 27th, is now struggling and going backwards, and he's about to go a lap down. And you got to feel for a guy that was running laps equal to the leader's speed, now having the truck going away, not handling right, and just not having the same speed. Let's take a quick look at the track conditions again. Track temperature has not come up, air temperature has not come up, no humidity, and very little wind. Oh, looked like one of the lap cars got a little bit of the wall out of turn 2. All right, let's see. And that is what the track currently looks like. There is your leader, Kenny Hyde Jr. And you can see he is in heavy lap traffic. There's a few trucks on pit road right now trying to get back up to full speed. But even when he clears the lap traffic in front of him, he's going to have just a very small gap before he has to get around even more lap traffic. There's Patrick Gitter currently running in second. Nowski running in third, about a third of a straightaway behind. Jeremy Gardner in fourth, not that far behind Pudge. Brandon Newby in fifth, also still within striking distance. Blair Patterson in sixth. One of the guys that has made him and Brandon Newby have made huge charges through this field today. Chris Lockwood back in 7th place. Dean Webb on the move. Look at the 09 go. He is now back up into 8th place after that early incident that saw him have to go take a ride down the infield wall on the backstretch. He has made his way back up to 8th now. Jeremy Edwards currently in 9th. And Blake Vicken in 10th place. And you see, there is Blake Vicken highlighted by the green, and the leader just crossed the start-finish line. And look at all that traffic between them. Patrick Piper in 11th, still trying to pick up some positions. He is up from 22nd to 11th. Anthony Caron in 12th. And he is one that has been battling all day long just not as far forward as his driving would suggest he should be. Brian DeYoung, another one that has struggled a couple of different times, still trying to fight back, maintaining the lead lap in 13th. Colby Whipple in 14th after starting in 23rd, but he got in way too deep into turn 1. Ryan McDaniel back in 15th, the other mellow yellow truck. Does anybody know what happens if a mellow yellow truck runs into another mellow yellow truck? I'm just wondering if that causes a glitch in the matrix. Jeremy Edwards is the first driver to hit pit road for his final stop. Brian O'Shell moves up to 15th. Swafford now up to 16th. Ray Rogers will take 17th, and now we are starting to see green flag pit stops. James Smith is on pit road. Let's hop back up with the leader and start watching. Expect to see a lot of the leaders hit pit road now. Their fastest laps, Kenny Hyde Jr.'s fastest lap is a 24.12. His last lap was a 25.46. Lost almost a second and a half of speed on these old tires. These guys coming off of pit road, pitting a little bit earlier, they're going to come flying back through. They'll have the opportunity to unlap themselves. Patrick Piper now hitting pit road. Russell Worth having the cheering section with Brenda Montgomery tonight. And BJ, yep, that's actually really funny. That is a great quote. And I'll probably be watching Days of Thunder in the morning. As we have a battle for the lead for the first time, Patrick Gitter has the nose inside. They've got a lot of lap traffic ahead, but they're side by side through 1 and 2. And now Patrick Gitter has to slide up, clearing the lap car, the 54. The 92 right in front of him. Patrick Gitter in the lead, but man, these two are really having to drive through some lap traffic here. Oh, the 92 almost drifts up into him. And one of the great things about Rockingham, oh my goodness, the 17's almost in the wall. One of the great things about Rockingham, it can go from calm to chaos in a split second. The 69 Nesquik car coming back up on track. And the leaders continue to go by. The 69 I don't know if he was trying to get to pit road or just get out of the way, but he almost went flying back up the track. Pit road exit right there, very tricky under caution or under green, because that blue line back there, as you start the front straight or the back straightaway, that is where things really get exciting as drivers are trying to come up off the track. Back up on the track, but cars that are a lap or more down come out. There's the tire wear on the old tires. These guys can get loose. Those guys can be pushing too hard, and incidents happen quite often there. Patrick Gitter continues to lead. Anthony Caron has now hit pit road. Ray Rogers has been to pit road. He's on his way back out. Only 9 cars, looks like 9 cars have not been to pit road yet. Bryant DeYoung. I take that back. The top 13 have not been to pit road, ending with Lonnie Roberts. And now these lap cars with new tires are starting to come into play with the leaders, as Patrick Gitter now has to defend as the 09 is catching back up. Otto Cruz is on pit road. And there you see the disparity, the 09 on fresh tires passing the leader. Patrick Gitter's got to be very careful here how far he tries to stretch these tires. Bradley Hunt now on pit road. Brandon Newby now on pit road. Lonnie Roberts on pit road. How much longer do the leaders try and stretch this? Jeremy Gardner and Pudge have both hit pit road. Expect to see Patrick Gitter, Kenny Hyde, and Blair Patterson hit pit road any moment. Gitter drops down low. Will he turn down out of 4? No, he doesn't. Neither does Kenny. Here comes Blair Patterson, now up to 3rd. And looks like we might just get that cycle. A green flag stops Blair Patterson on pit road. Chris Lockwood on pit road. Now the leaders really have to be thinking about getting to pit road. Almost all the top 10 has been to pit road. Patrick Gitter, Kenny Hyde, Blake Vicken, and Bryant DeYoung are the only 4 in the top 10 that have not been to pit road. Actually, the only 4, might be the only 4 in the field at this point. And there goes the 03. That is Otto Cruz as he comes back by on fresh tires. Those fresh tires are going by so fast that Patrick Gitter is not even getting that much draft help. He'll pick up a mile or 2 an hour on the straightaway, but that's it. By the time he gains a lot of speed, it's Blake Vicken hitting pit road. Patrick Gitter can drop in the draft of these cars with fresh tires, but as I mentioned, it's only for about a straightaway because he is so much slower into the turns than everybody else. Kenny Hyde still out on old tires, and here comes a bunch of fresh tires closing up on his back bumper. Bryant DeYoung still out there, has not been to pit road. Looks like Brian O'Shell, the leader, is on pit road. Patrick Gitter and Kenny Hyde Jr. both hit pit road together. Bryant DeYoung is not in a position. He's going to have to get himself situated if he wants a chance at pit road. The 38 driving down to the caution. A caution in the middle. A green flag stops. Will this help or hurt Kenny Hyde Jr. and Patrick Gitter? I am not 100% sure what even triggered this, but we're going to try and figure this one out. Looking through to see what happened in the time previous to the caution. There was so much going on with cars coming up off of pit road, guys going to pit road. Oh, a little bit of a bobble there. I did not see anybody having any issues that would have brought him to pit road. Kenny Hyde Jr. currently being scored in the lead. Patrick Gitter in second. So they did not get bit by that. Hey, Patrick, this is Doug in the booth. You got me?
10-4, I got you.
Hey, man. First question, do you have any idea what caused the caution? Because I didn't see anything.
Dude, I was in the pits. That was not good for me. I don't know, man. I was trying to hold it out as long as I could there on that green flag run, waiting on a pit stop, and finally I just was low on fuel. I had to come. Just worked out that way.
Yeah, it definitely did, and you guys fortunately had hit your pit stalls. It looked like just as the caution came out, it might have actually worked out in y'all's favor just by a sheer miracle on this one.
Okay, well that's new. Hey man, that's good news to me. I thought it was going to be the other way around. So I'm just interested to see how it plays out, man. Kenny and I, we were battling up there. That was a lot of fun. Good racing after we got that caution sorted out after lap 70 or so, I think. So I'm just excited to see what the last 20 laps look like.
Now, I have to ask, Kenny's been beating you on the short runs. You are definitely the faster of the two on the long run. Do you have anything in that truck for the short run here at the end?
Man, I don't know. Kenny's so fast on that short run. I might have to switch some stuff up here, try to figure out what he's doing differently on his line or something. I don't know if 30 laps is a long enough long run for me to take care of it, but I think it's going to be exciting regardless here at the finish.
All right, man. Good luck, buddy. You've had a great race so far.
Yeah, man. 10-4. I appreciate it.
Patrick Gitter has definitely had an epic race so far. He's been back and forth. Kenny Hyde has been up there at the front, and Bryce, you might be right. It might have been an Invisibonk. I have looked through all the alerts, all the notes, everything, and the only thing that popped up happened after the caution while they were pacing, and it looks like Brian O'Shell just pulled off track for a moment. Jeremy Gardner is now going to be in third. Chris Lockwood is fourth. Jeremy Edwards is fifth. And I have no idea how, just due to the cycle of pit stops, right now Nowski's being scored in 14th. But here's the weird situation. Actually, we're going to have to let this scoring sort out and whatnot, because it's actually showing Pudge a lap down. Just due to the timing of the caution, and with Kenny Hyde Jr. and Patrick Gitter right behind the pace car, nobody's getting waved around. There will be one lucky dog get waved around the pace car, but normally in a situation like this, you would end up with the two leaders way at the back of the line and a bunch of guys at the tail end of the lead lap waved around the pace car. That's not going to be the case here. And with the single file restart, things are about to get really interesting, especially considering all the drivers are spread out through the field. Here is Kenny Hyde Jr. in first, Patrick Gitter right behind him. There is third place Jeremy Gardner. Chris Lockwood right behind him, Jeremy Edwards in fifth right behind him. Dean Webb in sixth, Brian DeYoung in seventh. Then back in eighth is Brandon Newby, several more spots back, Blair Patterson in ninth, and 10th, Anthony Karen. And Bryce, you're welcome to come to any of my broadcasts and start dropping different bonks in, because that is just one of the funniest things in the world. I don't know why I get such a kick out of it, but I needed a laugh tonight. Thank you. All right, out of turn 4, another single file restart. It does look like they extended the caution. And lights are back out on the pace car. Everybody getting sorted out here. And it looks like lap cars are now starting to be pushed to the back of the field. Jeremy Gardner now pulling up, Chris Lockwood pulling up, Jeremy Edwards. So they are getting the lead lap cars back together. So this is going to be a dogfight of the lead lap cars, of which, due to that caution, the timing of that caution, 12 cars left on the lead lap. You're going to have Kenny Hyde Jr., Patrick Gitter, Jeremy Gardner, Chris Lockwood, Jeremy Edwards is 5th, then Dean Webb, Brian DeYoung, Brandon Newby, Blair Patterson, Anthony Karen in 10th, 11th is Colby Whipple, and 12th is Patrick Piper. Those are the 12 cars on the lead lap. Everybody stacked up, ready to go. Pace car is in. And green flag is in the air. Everybody down and away into turn number 1. 19 laps to go. And Kenny Hyde Jr. gets a great restart. He is off the front already. 0.6 of a second over Patrick Gitter. There's going to be a battle back here, as here comes the 84 under the 48. Chris Lockwood looking for third. Chris Lockwood is going to complete the almost gets into the 48. Jeremy Edwards right there on the back bumper as well. Jeremy Edwards ducks down to the bottom for 4th. Can he get him into turn 3? He has the nose in, but it looks like Gardner carrying a lot more momentum. Dean Webb up to 6th now. Brad DeYoung in 7th. 8th is Brandon Newby, Blair Patterson in 9th, and Anthony Karen in 10th. Patrick Piper, Colby Whipple rounding out the lead lap cars. Kenny Hyde had opened up a 7/10 of a second lead, but it only lasted for a lap because Patrick Gitter is on the move. Lockwood in 3rd. Jeremy Edwards is also on the move. He finally gets down to the bottom for 4th. Jeremy Gardner up high, and here comes Dean Webb looking to the bottom for 5th. Dean can't quite get there yet. Back up front, the battle for the... Wow! Patrick Gitter slinging it off of turn 4, almost got the wall. He is really sending it into turn 1. Oh! Holy cow! Kenny Hyde Jr. gets loose off of turn 2. Now, Gitter on the high side. What a great save by Kenny Hyde Jr., but here comes Patrick Gitter. He's got the high line. It's going to be a drag race down into 1. Gitter clears him. Gitter to the lead. 14 laps to go, and Kenny Hyde Jr. for the first time today, or really the second time, but late in the race, he loses the lead, getting loose off turn 2. We talked about it earlier in the race, how dangerous turn 2 tends to be, and it hasn't tonight. But here we go. Jeremy Edwards in 3rd, now 2 seconds back. Can he make up any ground here? Does Kenny Hyde push it hard enough to get loose again? No, he does not. But he is right all over the back bumper of Patrick Gitter. Now he's looking for a low line, looking for an opening anywhere he can get it. And it looked like Patrick might have gotten a little bit loose off of 4. Chris Lockwood in 4th place, but here comes Gardner trying to get that position back. Now Lockwood back to 5th, Gardner down to the inside for 4th. And Dean Webb is lurking. The 84 goes way high through 3 and 4. He is out of the groove, and the 09 gets the nose in. Back up front, Patrick Gitter still holding on to the lead. Kenny Hyde Jr. not done yet. Jeremy Edwards actually starting to close just a little bit on the leaders. Probably not enough time left. Jeremy Gardner, Chris Lockwood, and Dean Webb continue to battle. That is 4th through 6th. Brian DeYoung lurking back there in 7th. Blair Patterson in 8th. Brandon Newby in 9th. Anthony Karen currently running in 10th. Patrick Gitter will have 9 to go at the line. We talked about Jeremy Edwards having an opportunity to close up. He had gained a couple of tenths of a second, but he is starting to lose ground again. Jeremy Gardner in 4th place. Chris Lockwood currently running in 5th. Dean Webb all over the back bumper of Lockwood. And Patrick Gitter has opened up a little bit of a gap over Kenny Hyde Jr. Brian O'Shell has towed to pit road. Not sure what happened. It looked like he had dropped down to the bottom. I think he was under speed. Jeremy Edwards in 3rd, closing up on Kenny Hyde Jr., but Patrick Gitter pulling away. Jeremy Gardner in 4th has pulled away, but Dean Webb has made his way into 5th. He has finally gotten past Lockwood. Blair Patterson making his way forward here late in the running as well. He is now up to 7th. Colby Whipple, last car on the lead lap, currently up to 12th after starting in 23rd. Patrick Piper started in 22nd. He is up to 11th. Anthony Karen started in 17th, up to 10th. And Patrick Gitter is starting to get into some lap traffic. He's going to have 5 to go. But look there, that is exactly what Patrick Gitter wants to see. Coming out of turn 2, a clear straightaway. He might catch, I believe that's PJ Cox just ahead, a straightaway ahead. He may or may not catch him, but that's the only car in his sight that he has to worry about now. He's got 0.6 of a second over Kenny Hyde Jr. Jeremy Edwards now losing ground to both of them. Gardner in 4th is being caught very quickly by the 09 of Dean Webb. Dean definitely on a mission here tonight. Dean early in the race grinds the rail on the back straightaway infield wall with that truck, gets it fixed, gets back out there, gets back to the lead lap, and now makes his way to 5th. Can he pull off a 4th? Two laps to go for Patrick Gitter. Kenny Hyde Jr. in 2nd is now almost a full second behind the leader. Jeremy Edwards in 3rd, 2 seconds back from Kenny Hyde. Gardner another 2 seconds back, but Dean Webb half a second back. He was really, really close as Patrick Gitter takes the white flag. And he's got one more lap car to get around. That is the 69 Nesquik truck. It looked like Kenny Hyde might have gotten the wall off turn 2 on the final lap. But out of turn 4, Patrick Gitter is going to win at the Rock. Kenny Hyde Jr. is going to pull off 2nd place. Jeremy Edwards is 3rd. Jeremy Gardner is 4th. Dean Webb 5th. Chris Lockwood 6th. Blair Patterson is 7th. Bryant DeYoung is 8th, Brandon Newby 9th, and Anthony Karen finishes in 10th. Patrick Piper and Colby Whipple round out the lead lap field. Nowski finishing in 13th. And it is burnout time for Patrick Gitter. Let's start by talking to Jeremy Edwards. Hey, Jeremy, this is Doug in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, Doug, I got you.
Hey, a valiant effort the last part of that race. You managed to get up to 3rd, and we're actually briefly closing in on the leaders.
Yeah, just a battle of coming back. Had that early incident in the race there and had to battle back from the back. Super hard to pass on this track once you get 10, 15 laps on the tires. Everyone's just pretty even, but luckily that last caution came out, got some new fresh tires on there, and was able to battle back to 3rd.
Well, it was definitely one heck of a comeback. There was a few epic comebacks tonight, yours being one of them. Congratulations, man. Rough race last week, but obviously a great race this week.
Yeah, it was good race to battle back. The Rock is different monster, so it was good to come out here with top 3. But I'd like to thank the sponsors, Power Transmissions, for tonight, and of course Doug, you at How to Suck at iRacing, and of course Pudge at Nowski. So appreciate you, Doug.
All right, man. Congrats, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, let's see if we can get a hold of Kenny Hyde Jr. Hey, Kenny, this is Doug. You got me?
Yes, sir.
It looked like on every restart you just walked away from him, but that last one he just had something extra, and then you got a little loose off of turn 2. What happened there?
Just clipped the apron with the left side tire a little too much. And that costing us a race.
I couldn't tell if you clipped the apron there or just were pushing a little too hard off turn 2, but man, an extraordinary run regardless, dominated most of the race.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite tracks. So I would say with 110 laps led, it would show that it's one of my favorite tracks.
It definitely did, man. That was a great performance regardless. And I have to say, as out of shape as that truck was, that was an amazing save.
Thank you very much.
Well, congratulations, man. Look forward to talking to you again next week, buddy.
Thank you. Have a good week.
All right, let's see if we can get Patrick Gitter. Hey, Patrick, this is Doug. Did you just blow your engine?
Yeah, I burned it down a little too hard.
Well, I don't think it matters because I don't think, given that burnout, there was much tire left on it anyway.
I know, man. I was burning some tire there at the end trying to catch Kenny. I knew he was fast. We talked about it. He was getting me all night on that short run, and I mean, it was just down to whoever I think was gonna be the most consistent at the end. And I think Kenny maybe clipped the wall or something out of 2 one time, and that's what got me up close to him. But man, it was fun racing up front. Just enjoyed it. I just appreciate what you guys do to help us run these races. You guys broadcasting and Pudge and the guys are putting it together. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, man, congratulations. It's got to be awesome to win the second race of the season. A great way to get the season going as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Last week at Daytona was made me cringe a little bit. I finished at the back, so this was nice. Nice redemption.
Well, it definitely was, man. Congratulations. That was one heck of a run and a dominant, or not a dominant win, but what a win. And I have to mention, we talked about the short run speed. As soon as you cleared Kenny Hyde, you checked out.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. It was like I felt like Kenny was getting me in 1 and 2, and for whatever reason, I noticed he was running a little higher in 3 and 4 than I was. I don't know if that's what kind of helped me out or what, but it felt like something just changed there after that last restart.
Well, and whatever it was, man, it definitely worked. Congratulations.
Yep, I appreciate it. Thanks, Doug.
All right, there's one driver I want to try and interview, and he just dropped into the chat, but I'm going to see if he's still there because I want to ask him. Oh, nope, Dean took off. But you gotta give Dean credit after the slide down the infield wall there, blowing the engine, managing to come back for 5th. There was a lot of great comeback stories from tonight. This was an amazing race, one of the most exciting Rockingham races we've ever broadcast, and I've broadcast 40-plus cars here, street stocks here at once for XCal, so I can tell you that this was an epic, epic race with a lot of great action, a lot of great driving, and you can definitely see this league is really, really coming together. Don't forget to go check out the Nowski Nation on Facebook. Check out Pudge and Nowski on Twitch. Don't forget to check out Nowski Vision on Facebook. Follow him on all of his links. You don't want to miss out on anything he does. Great group of guys. They are the ones that this whole group, this whole community makes all this stuff that they do possible. So huge shout out to all of them. And thank you to Powers Transmissions and PJ Cox for tonight's sponsorship and an amazing, amazing race from all the drivers. You guys did an epic race tonight. It was great. Love broadcasting. Thank you all the fans for tuning in. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow night. We will have some dirt racing. And next Wednesday, obviously, we will be back at it. Thank you guys so much. Hope you guys had as much fun as we did. And have a great night. Bonk.